This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. So much fun stuff coming up today. I've got my fabulous and beautiful co-host, Britt and Todd. She is the founder of Contours RX. You're going to hear all about that in a minute. Britton, so good to see you.
So good to see you, always.
This room that you're in is phenomenal, by the way.
Yes.
This is your wine room?
Yes, my wine's right there. Just got all those new bottles in, that glass. I love it. This is such a comfortable room. You know, it's modest.
It's so insane. You know, like, someday I want you to take me through a tour of your house.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, all the different rooms. Yeah, my actual studio looks a little messy right now. So
right.
You know, we'll leave you out of that room, but that's where I do most of my work.
I love it, girl. You are so much fun. You know, for people who didn't get to see, I met Britton through the New Beauty Live show that I hosted. And I thought that her product was so incredible. In fact, and I said this on air and I will say this again, when I found out that your product was going to be in the VIP box, it was the one that made me say, I instantly want this for my mom. But really what I wanted it was for my dad and for my sister, who both have very bad hooded eyelids. So your product does that. And actually, you know what? Let's get the wow demo right out of the way so that like we can show, because you're just not going to believe this. Can you come any closer, by the way?
Oh yeah. I always make a joke, you know, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So
right.
I'll get in as close as you want.
So basically we're going to go back and talk about the product, but she has created this product for hooded eyelids that if you're thinking about having any sort of eyelid surgery, this is the game changer. So why don't you do the demo for us?
And just a little bit about that, I know, because a lot of people think that it has something to do with age. You know, oh, I'm older now, I have to deal with it. And so people always call in too and say, you know, I'm 77 years old. What should I get? And I'm like, age has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So when we're talking about heavy hooded eyelids, you know, tired eyes making you look more tired and just aged. And you can see that this is kind of what I'm talking about. So this is my own before and after. It's dramatic, especially if you don't know what we're talking about, but we're talking about heavy hooded eyelids, making you look tired and aged. And so when you talk about, you know, going to a surgeon or considering surgery, I definitely was considering surgery. I was the face of a company at that time. And, you know, I was constantly having meetings, face-to-face meetings. And I found myself hiding my eyes and trying not to, you know, if I didn't look at them in the face, maybe they wouldn't look at me. Right. And so it really, truly was impacting my confidence. Everybody, all my coworkers were also saying like, oh, did you tie one on last night? You know, did you just wake up? You know, what's wrong? Were you angry?
And it can be like a genetic thing. Like my father's had it forever. My sister's had it. And so for people who are about to watch this, and if you're just listening to this, you really should go and check this out or look at the videos on Contours RX website. But Britton, the way that our viewers are looking at it right now, on the right side of her face has one of the contour strips in. And on the left side, she doesn't, because I feel like when I first met you, I was like, why? You don't need these. And you're like, I'm wearing them.
And that's what's so funny is when I used to, you know, meet with people when I was just first starting, I would have both of them on, obviously. Yeah. And they're like, well, that's easy for you to say, you don't need it. And I'm like, no. So I'd sit there during a luncheon or something and end up taking my strip off and letting it fall down and going, see, and they're like, okay, that's just weird. This is not any less unweird.
Right. Well, but I love that you've done this. And can you show us, and then we'll go back in, but just look how quick that she is able to transform from a more hooded eye to, I mean, just watch this. I'm going to.
It's a dramatic lift. So I'm just going to get my little tweezers and.
Okay.
Because that's what helps peel these little strips off of that sheet. So everything's protected and everything, that adhesive is already on there. So that little arch, this is what I'm going to make my eyelid look like. So I've just cleaned my eyelid, no makeup. And then I'm just going to lift and place. We all know what it looked like before. And a little tweak with the tweezers to release it. You can't see it. And I've got that nice arch, that lift. And now I look more youthful, I look awake, and confidence, and all of these things come along with it. And eyes have never been more important, of course.
I
So
was okay. So when I saw this the first time, I was absolutely blown away because again, going back, my father growing up, I always remember him. He used to read literally, and it's funny, but when you think about it, it's really sad. He used to
yeah.
read by holding his eyelids up, and part of that was that he was waiting. If you have if your eyelids shrink to a certain, if they start to cover your pupil,
Hmm.
and they become problems with your vision after a while, insurance will cover it. So,
Yes,
and
on
I
a
get it
good
because
day.
on a good
On
day,
a good
but
day.
it
Yes.
had to sink down low. And and he used to send me these things that he would see on late night, where it would be like, oh, I'm just going to put this on. And when I saw this and then watched you do it, I
Yeah.
was blown away. And I went back and I looked at like the Facebook Live content, and people were just like, holy shit, is this real? And I'm
Oh,
telling you, I was like, you have to come on my podcast because these are the kind of innovative things in beauty that I'm like, this is so wonderful because it's saving people from a lifetime of surgery.
well, it's still such a white space, like we're not used to being able to lift our eyelids. We
Right.
do makeup to try to get that arch. We hide them with hairstyles, try to get these extensions to support that excess skin. And the two choices that we talked about on the podcast were people are saying you either live with it or you cut it off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to do either.
Right.
I want to be able to lift it. I don't, I'll have other things worked on, trust me. But,
Yeah.
my eyes are just that scary thing. And a lot of people are living and literally struggling through this every single day. And so I knew I was not the only one. And so I always reference it like a push-up bra for the eyelid because everybody can relate to having that instant fix that we all want. We want everything right now instantly, but eyes have never been more important. And so
Totally.
people are starting to find out about this and, and listen, but placement can always be a challenge. So we always like to demonstrate it.
Because you know what, when I saw how quickly it went on too, now granted, it's like I imagine I've got a girlfriend who can put on fake eyelashes like
Yes.
while driving a car, or like horseback riding. She's so good at it. So practice makes perfect. But when I saw you do the application and it was like boom, 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 done, I was blown away. Taking it back a step. So we kind of touched on this, but you created this product because it was something that you needed. Um, but you had gone to a surgeon, right? Can we talk about this story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I initially went to my eye doctor and I said, is there anything that I can do about this? Because he's a, non-surgical eye doctor,
Right.
and I was starting to really kind of realize that I was having impaired vision. One was heavier than the other, might have been because I'm sleeping on that side, might have
Mm-hmm.
been, genes, hereditary, just anything. But it was just really bothering me. And he said, go see a surgeon. And so
Right.
when I went to go and see a surgeon, I wish I had a pencil. He literally took a pencil to my eyelid and rolled it up and said, yeah, we can cut some off. Let me know when you're ready. I'm like, well, how much are you going to cut off? What am I going to look like? It's a really scary thing. And he said, I'll decide once we're in there. And that's when I'm like, so when I'm under anesthesia, you're going to decide. And, when you Google it and research it, number one, requested surgery, you come up with a lot of images and there's good reviews and there's bad reviews. And
Totally.
50% of the reviews that were negative were you cut too much off, you didn't cut
Yeah.
enough off, you
Right.
left me with an asymmetry. And so it's just scary. So initially, when I was designing this, I had the surgeons. It was the first door I knocked on. I said, I came
Wait,
to
we
the
can.
surgeon.
I
Sorry.
don't. I don't mean to cut you off, but also on that, if you cut too much off, and I happen to know this because my dad was going and had the surgery, but if they cut too much off, they can leave you where you can't close your eyes. This is something that is real, and then they can't go back and really. I don't think that fix that. So if they take off too much,
Yeah, it's kind of a no return policy.
and people are living like this, and not just like one or two, not just like the botched. I think that this happens, uh, mm, like you said, there was a
More
lot of
often.
reviews, more often than we would like. Of
Yeah.
course, you want to go to a board certified surgeon who's dealing with this, like an oculoplastic, if you can and you can
We
afford that,
actually
and you're
have
able.
a lot of oculoplasties that we work with, and they actually use this in the consultation room to give you the different sizes. Do you want 4 millimeters cut off? Do you want 8 millimeters cut off? There's a big difference between, the sizes. Just looking at these two sizes.
Right,
This mimics how much skin they actually cut off of you. And
right.
so we have the surgeons that use this in the consultation room to say, here's, 6 millimeters. Here's, a dramatic lift. Here's a much slight difference. And if we have an asymmetry, we're dealing with it right there
And
I'm going to say then and there, right there in the consultation room. So it saves you as the patient and the doctor a second surgery. It eliminates the guesswork of what I'm going to look like, because like you just saw, I get to actually walk out with those results, look in the mirror 100 times, tell my husband or my loved ones or my family, do you guys notice anything different? And they all come in and support it. So we really help surgeons sell more surgeries, but now we're having an educated decision and really involving the patient fully on what to expect of their overall look.
And I
So
want to
it's
just
huge.
say before that, because when you went in, they couldn't necessarily show you what it was going to look like.
No, they couldn't. No, he took a pencil.
And
And,
that's,
I mean,
but when you think
you
about
you
how
you try to show
important,
somebody this and picture, like,
and when you think
it's
about somebody like your eyes, I know they say that it's the window to the soul, but they're so expressive and there's so much that changes. We've all seen people who have maybe had a facelift or had their eyes done, and they just look different.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
better or worse, but just different. And so I
yeah.
think that is just something that must be terrifying. I love that you have gotten this and it was sold with a lot of oculoplastics people who were like, go. I love those doctors who were like, try this. Let's
Yeah,
figure it out together. It's a try before you buy.
exactly.
And and then you started selling these on QVC, right? And
Yeah,
it's a huge success on
yeah.
QVC.
Thank you. We're just actually launching our ninth network
Right.
in Russia, and as well as expanding in the US. So we're super excited.
I have to imagine too, these are like, I know I talked about my dad, and this is a no brainer, I think, for a lot of women out there, but I bet there's a lot of men who are using this too.
There are. I want to say about 20% of our clientele are men.
Wow.
We see the men ordering. We don't get posts from the men. But what's funny is the few clients that I have known that were men ended up having surgery within about 7 months was average.
Wow.
Once they saw the lift, they didn't want to deal with lifting it up every day, which it takes seconds. But women are more used to doing lashes or, things, just every
Yeah.
day. And so it's not that big of a deal to pop it on and then do your makeup. It's easy. It's first thing I do in
And
the morning before
I,
coffee.
I love,
I'm
because I asked you, I
managing.
was like, do you do it before? Like, can you wear makeup with it? And you have to put them on with no makeup. But the interesting
Right.
thing is then I went back and I was talking to a makeup friend and they were like, think about it. When you're doing makeup and you're putting stuff in the crease, it's generally to create the look that you're getting with these, with the, what do we call them officially?
They're correcting strips.
Correcting
I know
strips. Thank you.
I basically,
I was like
when
lid
we're
lifters.
I have gotten all of it. We have a reward program that's actually called Loyal Lifters,
Right.
and then we have a lift blog. But I call them correcting strips for so many different reasons, because if you think about all the things that we're correcting, we correct asymmetry, loss of motor function, and I can explain any and all of these, ptosis, asymmetry, impaired vision,
Yeah.
and just heavy hooded, loss of
Yeah.
collagen, loss of elasticity. So we actually help a lot of, we sell to optometrists all over the world, because again, just like that surgeon, they use it as a tool to get a better ocular exam. So they had been using the thumb and steri strips and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, don't do that. put the strip on. Now you can take a better ocular exam and go through your, but you can now bring a product to your clients.
Yeah.
And so patients are not only, able to experience it during their exam, they're able to purchase, a few months supply until their next exam. And so they get sized right then and there at the optometrist offices. And so it's just a whole experience that we brought to dealing with heavy hooded eyelids. And no one was really dealing with them before. They were just cutting them off or covering them.
And I have here, it's funny, I left everything in together from when we did the New Beauty, but so the Steri-Strips. So basically it's like adhesive, correct?
Yes. So our correcting strips are all medical grade, hypoallergenic, and latex free. And so we use an organic based adhesive. I know people when they look at these, they kind of think, oh, well, it's a white film, and that's not going to look good, or that's not going to match every skin tone. Well, it absolutely does. And so I always like to get in really super close under these HD lights and place it on my skin. Now, if you can see it, right? And so this is sometimes what people do. They just kind of lay it on the skin and they're like, well, you can see it, so it doesn't, but you have to press and hold and bond.
Right. And so one side is because I remember when I thought this, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a double-sided tape is essentially what I thought it was, but it's not.
No.
Because one side of it, and I have them here too, one side of it is a sticky, is going to adhere to the eye, but the other one, it feels matte. What is the magic there? What's happening?
So what happens is we don't need, so there is something called Asian double-sided, I should know this, Asian double-sided tape, I think it is.
Right.
And that is a very, very small strip that's sticky on both sides. And so when you look at a monolid, somebody who doesn't have the crease, they don't have any eyelid, that's to really help adhere the skin to each other so it sticks to each other. It's a little uncomfortable. It doesn't help people that have that excess skin like me, that loss of collagen, loss of elasticity. We have too much eyelid. And so you actually need a double fold. You need a double eyelid in order to use our products. Right. So we help people that have a monolid with our very, very smallest 3 millimeter one. And that definitely creates an eyelid. Just to give you an example. That's how big it is. And so, and this is the size I'm using.
Right.
So you can
what is that? A 7 millimeter, 8 millimeter?
Yeah, this is the 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can wear every single size. My favorite go-to is a 5. That's my favorite go-to. That's what we just gave everybody on samples too. That's the one I generally put on right in the morning just so I can see my coffee. I don't need Marilyn Monroe eyelids.
Right.
And so this is my biggest one.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be like what Papa Vic would need. But so, and I'm like, they're actually in the process of moving. So I was hoping by now that but literally they've been moving, and he was like, Amber, don't put me on the spot. So I will be doing follow-ups because I was like, you have to show this. I was so psyched about this. But it really is, it's a push-up bra for your eyes. So what it's doing is instead of just being sticking and having that stick, it's providing support.
Yeah. So if you think about it, and I'll take this back off. So if you think about it now, your muscle memory is incredible. I've had it on just for a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit to fall down. So my muscle memory is insane. I can take this one off, and if I've had it on, which I've had it on all day, it'll stay up. Now I take this one off and it'll start slowly coming down. But I always encourage people, play with this one. It's not going to be the one you wear out, but you can really kind of play around with the placement. But we have to capture it. So when you get to the base of where it's folding over, anybody that's wearing eyeshadow should be able to say, oh, that's where all my eyeshadow gathers. That's where all of that is. A monolid, you don't have any of that. And so the more excess skin someone has on their eyelid, the happier I am, because that's what we're doing. So in picking the size, and we have a size chart on our website, this is how much arch we're going to have, but we have to capture it within the strip. So if you think about this fold, like my finger is that fold, and I block it with a strip, can no longer fold.
Right.
It's completely blocked. So this is a tool. And
Yeah.
so we're just blocking it. We're creating, nothing can fold in this space when this
Sure.
is on. And so we're just creating that ocular aesthetics, if
Right.
you will. I mean, anything. People say, well, this isn't permanent. Well, neither is mascara. Neither are the stilettos that we put on.
This isn't
You know,
permanent. I'm just looking here because I don't want to. The other thing that blew me away um, is how affordable this is.
yeah.
And thank you for that. You know, like I feel like something like this you would expect to be, I mean, hundreds of dollars, and it's not. Right now on your website, I'm seeing your eyelid correcting strips, $35. And
Yeah.
that's for how many? That's
That's for 80 strips. So if you just have, if this is a natural eye for you and you just have an asymmetry, you have 80 of these. So you would just be correcting that one eye. There's no need to correct the other one. And so you're just going to pop that on in the morning after cleaning. And I put this one just a little bit higher to get even a little bit bigger of a lift. And so
and
you just
eight
play
and
around.
let can we just stop there for a minute? Like $80, but let's say even if you had or 80 strips, and if you
80
had to do
strips.
two, it's less than $1 a day. I mean,
Yes.
this is less. I mean, it's the same price as like a fancy mascara
Oh,
and
yes.
instantaneous results. And you can wear them every day, right? That was my
Oh,
first
yes.
question I asked you. Was like, is it safe?
You can wear them every day. I don't leave the house without them. Once you've seen your before and after, once you experience the lift, not only are you going to have that more confidence behind your appearance, but you're going to feel more awake and alert. I feel so tired when my eyes are tired. I feel tired. I'm not representing my best self. And it truly is a confidence,
It's a
booster.
confidence booster. And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, so because we get really the older I get, and I've heard this from women, like as you approach menopause,
Yeah.
you get more emotional. That time of the month is like, I just watch. Have you heard the show Away on Netflix? It's like Hilary
No.
Swank's new. Really good, really, really good, but really emotional. I was just crying, crying, crying. And I don't worry now because I'm like, I have this in my toolkit because especially for that, it's great. Like if you're puffy,
Yeah.
you know, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and that's again why we developed so many different sizes. So we have
Hmm.
6 patented designs, and they're all skin-like technology. So you shouldn't be able to see it or feel it. And so we've taken a lot of, a lot of education behind all of those. We didn't just, we worked with medical teams and created the medical adhesive and organic-based materials. But I love to sleep in them. Everyone says, is there a risk in having them on for more than 24 hours? Because we say 24 hours because we want you to wash your face. We
Hmm.
want you to clean. It's kind of like a daily contact lens. We want you to
Yeah.
swap that out and have a fresh new look every day because it's so affordable. But I do have the people that say, I wore these for my son's wedding. I've never felt better. I've put them in the back of my drawer to save them for next occasion. I'm like, no,
Use
go get
them.
them. Go get
Use them
them.
every
But
day.
we have all the different sizes, and especially what's represented in our assortment pack, you get to experience all the different looks. You get
Hmm.
to explore and discover your favorite daytime look. Like, mine is a great little easy 5 mil.
Yeah.
Your favorite nighttime look, maybe like the sevens, like I've got on. So you can really play around with it. And that's what beauty is about. Beauty is whatever is going to make you feel the best. It's really bringing out the best of your inner self. We're not
Right.
trying to change your appearance. We're trying to, deal with the issues that you might have. So if eyes are something that you think about and you try to lift and do one of these in the mirror, or like you
Yes.
said, your dad holding them up to watch TV, we
Not
can
anymore.
support those. We can support those from now on.
And
And,
I do want to say when I was, when they told me about this and I was talking to the editors at New Beauty, they were like, listen, we have to say this has the most incredible before afters. So I went into this being like, I mean, cool. I can't wait to see. But when I saw you put them on, I was like, wow, because seeing that was so it was instantly like, oh wow, this works. I'm seeing it live. It's 10 seconds.
yeah.
Um, do you feel like now though you can never ever get your eyelids done? And actually, do you really even care?
What's so funny is I have so many doctors. First of all, I could probably get it done for free. I am the best, split
Salesperson.
face or model there is. I have such passion for this. And I got to tell you, I don't have as much passion for helping a 17-year-old do a better winged liner,
Right.
but
Right.
they can just wear it on
Right.
the weekends to have a bigger eyelid. The true passion is helping people that have had loss of motor function,
Yeah.
impaired vision like your dad, and just having been told to live with it. So that
Right. Like, so like Bell's palsy, right? Or
Mhm. Yeah,
what's the one? There's all, or is that where I'm thinking where you can have a temporary
yeah,
paralysis?
yeah.
Yeah.
The loss of motor function. We have clients that have lost, the motor function on one side or the other due to Bell's palsy or stroke. And
Yeah.
so what happens is the function. They've lost that motor function. So by having the correcting strip on a lid that doesn't know how to go back, it helps trigger the muscle in the back of the ocular cavity. That's how my eyebrow goes up. I don't know if you caught that, but if you can see,
Yeah.
my eyelid is now still sticking up a little bit. It'll take a little bit to fall back down, which is an incredible thing. I've had people say, my eyelid stayed up for 4 days. They loved it. It's already starting to fall down. But do you see my eyebrow?
Yes.
So people think that this is some trick. Well, this is how we can help with that motor function is, when we start using a muscle. I know I always point here and there's nothing there, but a muscle, when we start using it, it starts building and starts
Right.
working on its own. And that's when we can have that muscle memory. The more you wear them, the more your muscle remembers. But it's like a facelift. So this is not, when I have both of them up, they're like, did you draw that? I didn't. So let me just get one of my bigger ones and show
Gosh,
you.
you just gave another thing though. So even for people who are like,
Wanting a brow lift.
but if you want a brow lift, right? Or
Yeah.
that Botox, look,
Yep.
that's great. I actually had a girlfriend while you're playing this who had suffered from Bell's palsy when she was younger, wanted to go have Botox for the first time, but was scared and was like,
Yeah.
well, what happens if there isn't a real correlation between the two? But it was still something to worry about. But I feel like now I got to call her back and be like, worst comes to worst, we've got a solution.
We do. And you know what? I'd be happy to send her a product
No,
at no
35
charge for
bucks.
her to
Everybody can
test.
everybody
Because,
can
well,
afford $35 though.
it's so funny. I know. Some people are like, I would have spent, personally, I'd spend hundreds of dollars to look good for a date or
Do you know how
that
much
job
Latisse is?
interview.
Latisse for the eyelashes is hundreds of dollars.
I
So
know, I know. It's so crazy, but in just a matter of seconds, you can absolutely lift it. But it helps with that curve kind of goes up. So everybody thinks, oh, I want an eyelid up here. I'm going to put it way up here, but you can't do that. You have to find the base of it and clear that excess skin out. And remember, what we're doing is we're stopping it. We're placing a brace across that little folded line. But you can have fun with it. I put this one just like a little bit more at an angle, and I got a little bit more of that cat eye look. But that's it. Now my eyebrows back up because of that
I'm
muscle.
looking every time you do this. I am so blown away. Thank you so much for coming on. This is part of the reason why I love the podcast is that when I was doing this thing with New Beauty, I was like, I have to bring you on. I want more of this. I want to share this with my
Yeah,
listeners. I really want to thank you because it hit so close to home
yeah.
with my family. I've watched my dad deal with this for years. I do before we go though. My 41 years in the beauty business, I had never heard of exfoliating your eyelids, and it's another one of your products.
Yes.
Tell me about and why aren't people talking about exfoliating the eyelids? Too scary?
Well, my eye doctors are talking about it because there's something out there, a product out there to kill eye mites. And so when I started looking into eye mites, you don't want to Google it. You will never
I
be the
well,
same.
it
It's
happened.
a
It
crazy
happened.
thing, but it's a very, very common thing because what happens is mites live off of bacteria, and bacteria is formed off of dead skin cells.
Hmm.
And so I was speaking in Australia to 150 eye doctors at this inaugural. And I got on stage, and it's funny because I'm live all over the world with millions of people, but there's something about a 1 foot up stage
Yeah.
that just makes you a little intimidated. And my first question to them, without really knowing, too much about what we're going to talk about, is I said, I've talked to everyone, before, I got up here today, and I keep hearing eye mites, eye mites. It's a big popular thing that optometrists are having to treat every single day in their practices. But I started thinking about this. Why are we killing eye mites when we can eliminate their food source?
Mm. By the way,
And
too,
all the doctors kind of went, that's interesting, like looking at each other. And why not exfoliate the dead skin cells off of those eyelids, removing bacteria? Now, the reason nobody's done it, I guess, before is because the harsh acids that we use, our skin cells turn over. And
right.
so we exfoliate our face, we exfoliate our body, but all the products say stay away from the eyes
Yes.
because of harsh acids. So we developed ours using B5. B5 is a natural occurring acid that we actually produce in our bodies, but we stop producing it as we get older, just like collagen and elasticity. Well, B5 is one of the main sources for hydration and, just that elasticity. But B5 is an acid. And so we use B5 to exfoliate the eyelid. And so I love it because they all come in this individual foil pouch. And so just when I open it, I'm just going to show you how much of that B5 that we're actually using.
It's amazing.
It's just a ton, and it's not sticky. It feels
No,
amazing. You can exfoliate anywhere if it's safe for the eyelids. But
I
before we,
don't have them because I've used them and they're awesome. And that's why I was like, this is so cool. I'd never
yes,
seen. So sorry, keep going.
no, that's okay. We're actually sold out in 9 countries. We're sold out. I have the very last stop, but this is all German box. This is all
Right.
the only ones we have left are the German ones. So I'll send you a box, but it's all in Germany
So
or German. But before you unfold it, treat that eyelid, clean and exfoliate, turn it around, clean and exfoliate, and then open it up. If you think about getting all that ashy, dull skin out, that is dead skin cells. And if we
yes.
don't get rid of it and exfoliate it, we won't have a chance to encourage new skin cell turnover. It's huge. We have medical spas and estheticians now doing this during a treatment because every facial I've ever had, I'm like, clean my eyelids, and they won't do it. So now they're actually doing it. But take it around the orbital. You'll get better use out of your serums, and it just feels good. But we're removing bacteria, dead skin cells, and we're actually getting rid of any type of pollens that you have on your lashes.
So
And
good
it's
for
just,
like allergy season. And by the
yes,
way,
I use it every
really
morning.
good for all of the women who do eyelash extensions and for all of the people, I don't, what would you call them? The estheticians who are applying them.
Yes.
This is something that you want to do because I know that was a big story that was going around this summer, or actually it was prior to COVID. So maybe it was last summer. Holy geez, I can't even believe it was last summer
Eight
where,
months.
mites were a problem in certain
Yes.
with the eyelash extensions.
Yes, it is so incredible. So they're safe for fake eyelashes. They're necessary for just overall good eye health and daily hygiene. So these are also sold throughout our optometry offices for anybody that has bacteria on the eyelid, but they should also be taking them just for daily hygiene. Even if you
Yeah.
just use them once a week to exfoliate and remove and shuff the dead skin off, now we can use a product that's safe for the eyelids. Everything in my line in my company is all about safe, easy products, and they all have their own story and merits and benefits. But if you use these before the correcting strip, you can actually reuse and position that correcting strip and still use it, because before, when we're doing this, we're pulling off dead skin cells, bacteria,
Right.
oils, dirt,
And
all of that
oils,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, so we put it kind of in conjunction, and it actually comes with our assortment pack. So that's
Nice.
our number one. First time client, discover all the different sizes, and it comes with 5 of those. But gosh, doesn't it feel good to have your eyes super clean and exfoliated? And that's why we say we're going to brighten and lift and recontour and just reshape and revive your eyes with all the products that we have. And it
And
truly does revive them.
I mean, you look incredible. Now you can put makeup on the lid afterwards.
Yeah, I can
'Cause
demonstrate that for you if
okay.
you'd like. We have time.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to put it, you don't want me doing any type of eye makeup on me because I just always make a joke that I look like I was just mugged in the alley because I do not know how to do eyeshadow. So I'm going to demonstrate on my hand. But
Right.
again, if you can see it, it's not yet bonded. So the first, I just cleaned my hand with the B5, and now I'm putting the strip on and completely bonded. So that's good. So when we do makeup, so the other products on the market, we developed Color Set. And the reason why we developed it, because we're not a makeup company and we're not trying to compete with the amazing products that are out on the market. But the one problem we were having when we tested over 50 primers on the market, where they were all failing to work with the correcting strip because of oil, mineral oil. Mineral oil is very bad for the skin. It's actually removes those fake eyelashes sooner than you want.
Yeah.
And so the mineral oils can also clog ducts and pores and allows shadow to transfer. So you have to reapply it. So we developed Color Set. It truly sets the color. Everything is great for its own merits and benefits. And for if you just do eyeshadow and you just got this product, you don't need the strips, it's fabulous. We make it out of cocoa glycerides. So that's an organic derivative of a coconut. And these, I meant to say, for the alcohol cleaning agent is cocoa glycerides, which is organic derivative of a coconut, is the base ingredients working with the B5. So you've got organic ingredients cleaning, and then you've got an organic ingredient and formula to work over the strip. So I'm going to go, now the strip lays this way. So I'm just going to go the opposite way to really kind of be dramatic and demonstrate. So you can be as light as you want with this. It's an all-in-one. You can highlight. I use it as to brighten the eye. Now that I've just lifted it,
great for
I don't
the
want to cover
insides
it.
too.
Yeah, I don't want to make it black. I want to highlight and brighten. And there's a lot of different uses for this. But for shadow in particular, I'm just going to go ahead and be really liberal with it. So it's creamy. If I'm going to do a black dramatic eyeshadow, I really want to do very liberal amount because I want to make this one surface. If we think about it, I have two surfaces on my eyelid. I have the strip and I have my skin. Well, my skin is porous and it's going to take makeup one way, and the strip's going to take a whole nother way because it's two separate products. So I'm going to get my little black, very inexpensive drugstore shadow. So black does not lie. And what I'm going to do is just put it over here. So for one, the shadows never look like they do in the palette, right? But you can also kind of see the strip and the skin, it's taken two different ways. Well, the exact same shadow is 10 times the pigment. And so that alone is just amazing. But what I've done, remember, is I made it one surface. So shadows are going to take evenly now because I've made that. I want to go ahead and color that entire surface. But look at how much stronger.
Can you hold it up closer? It's amazing. So I also just want to say I didn't get this part of the demo on the New Beauty Live. So I'm really psyched that we are able to do this now because that's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm under, again, HD lights. And so what you can do is I want to further demonstrate it. And I'm going to take it off.
Wow.
So you can see once I bonded it, it doesn't disrupt, but look at how much better the strip actually took.
The color, wow. You can
look at how much better the shadow took to the strip. So we have to prime the strip and the eyelid to be one full surface. But again, if you didn't need the strip at all, 10 times the pigment, and it's humidity proof. It's waterproof, actually. And so it's so incredible. But everybody says, well, you can see the strip. It's not, number one, it's not bonded. But number two, you didn't prime it with a non-oil based primer, which ours is. So not only do we have this incredible product that's helping everybody, but we like to have the helpful tools to make it a full success. Because it wouldn't be any fun if you said, yeah, it's great, but you can't wear makeup on it, or, anything like that.
I was under the impression, and mascara then on top is fine. And like I said, I talked to somebody who was like, well, because I was like, oh, well, what about the crease? And they said, you put the dark colors in the crease to get that appearance of it being recessed and sort of bright and open. So you've done it for us.
No more makeup tricks. But I like to encourage people, you have your eyelid again. You haven't seen your eyelid in decades. Enjoy it, celebrate it. A nice, light, bright eye is what people are looking at, not covered in matte. We're already covering half of our face. So let your eyes be bright and revived and really show that confidence through. But this is an incredible
now while we're
product.
on like all the Zooms, all the things. This is like so easy.
Yeah.
Britton, thank you. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed that you created this product out of really need, that you have been the pioneer of this, and that you've really thought over like how we can do this without surgery,
Yeah.
or at least a try before you buy if you're considering surgery. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
at least decide what size you want. Try them all and decide and
Yeah,
go into that. If you want surgery, just let me help you, and we can
yeah.
get insurance improved more often because insurance companies are looking for that before and after, and not using a thumb or a pencil or anything else to get it. So we can actually help you and the doctor make that informed decision, and even help you get that insurance coverage too. So it's an incredible product.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So if people want to find this,
Yes.
where is the place to go?
Contours RX. So the company that I started 7 years ago, next week, we're celebrating our anniversary. And so at contoursrx.com, and we have an entire YouTube channel to help with tips and tricks. And we just have all the education on there that you could ever need, including finding a retailer near you that sells it. But you can choose your size and explore it. And that's the best place to go.
And tons
So,
of videos if you feel like you need to see it that are really well shot. Wait, by the way, so I guess happy anniversary, because by the time this runs, which is going to be next week on
oh, yes.
Tuesday, it'll be your anniversary.
It's our 7-year anniversary, and it's just been a whirlwind. Being able to travel the world and help people and speak about how we can help people in a non-invasive way with just the one product, Lids by Design. You truly can redesign your own lids in a matter of seconds, and so it's just been incredible 4 years that we launched the product.
Amazing. Happy 7th. And thank you so much for your time, for being on. Everyone, like she said, contoursrx.com. Go check out the before and afters. One of the before and afters is you. It's incredible.
Yes.
Watch the videos. And again, $35. This is a deal that you can't beat. Thank you again for being on. If you want to ask us any questions, you can always do that at hello@Art Beauty Podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.